How you doing?
All right, we'll get started here. We're now joined by Eric Kennedy. So please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. As a reminder, student athlete today cannot see you. So when you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. First, we'll go to Joe. Joe, please state your name and affiliation.
Joe Cook with Inside Texas. Eric, that fourth inning was one of the, that was the intense point of this game. Did you feel like your team, having a lot of experience with these different postseason situations, had an advantage and was able to stay a little bit calmer than the Volunteers were?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, going back to the Super Regional, USF hit that tying two-run home run in the top of the ninth. So we were ready for any situation. It's just the way we like it. We don't want it to be easy, and we were ready for whatever Tennessee had for us. They're a great ball club, and we just kept our heads down and kept going to work and grinding out at bats.
Next, we'll go to Danny. Please state your name and affiliation.
Danny Davis, Austin American Statesman. Eric, was there any panic in this team after Mississippi State? And what was kind of going on in practice yesterday? And how did you guys feel when you came to the ballpark today?
No, there's no panic. I mean, obviously, striking out 21 times in a game is unacceptable. But after the game, Coach Pierce was like, just keep your head up. We're going to go to work tomorrow. And that's exactly what we did. We had a great batting practice yesterday and got our good work in. We had a team meeting, kind of just cleared our minds, put that game behind us. And then, coming out and taking BP on the field today, you could tell everybody was super focused and everybody was ready to go. And that's in the past. Nobody's thinking about that game anymore.
Now we'll go to Dustin.
Dustin McComb with OrangeBloods.com. Eric, that big at bat in the second inning. You've talked about starting your swing earlier, getting that foot down, getting that timing. Take us through that at bat. You fouled off a pitch, barely 3-2 to stay alive. It looked like you get a hard fastball there down the middle, and you just put a great swing on it.
Yeah. So I was just trying to get, like you said, just get started early, and luckily I caught enough of the piece of that one before that. I mean, he threw me all fastballs. I don't know how many pitches it was prior to the home run. It was 6 or 7 fastballs. So I had my timing down, and the pitch before I fouled right off. So luckily he left one right over the middle of the plate, and I was ready for it, having seen several fastballs throughout the at-bat.
Next, we'll take a question. Nick, please state your name and affiliation.
Yeah, Nick Moyle, San Antonio Express News. Eric, just wanted to ask about Silas. Came up with a really huge RBI double, helped y'all turn that double play when you have the bases loaded, no outs. I mean, what's it been like for y'all to, watch this young guy kind of turn into a playmaker for you, especially on this stage?
Oh, it's awesome. He goes to work for us every day, It's tough being a catcher, you obviously have to hit, but then you have to deal with the pitchers, So after every at-bat, he'll have the starting pitcher or whoever's in the game at that time asking him stuff, and Coach Allen will be talking about the opposing team's hitters with him. So, he's been grinding all year. He's a great catcher, the best in the country, and it's awesome seeing him come through with that big hit because, he deserves it. He's been working just as hard as anybody, and it was just awesome to see him come through.
Next question is from Kirk. Kirk, go ahead.
Yeah, Kurt Bowles from the Austin American Statesman. Eric, you guys seemed really loose today, even after y'all got behind. And obviously, like you said, there's no panic at all. But did you feel like y'all played more Texas baseball today with your defense, clutch hitting, Tanner Witt's pitching?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's playing loose starting in the 9th inning against Mississippi State. We were all kind of laughing. Tulo was laughing. It's like, it can't get any worse. So just play loose, go out there and let it fly. And we did have a little rally then, and then it just carried into over today. That's what the big message was in the meeting yesterday, is just stay loose, enjoy it. We're here for a reason, but, just stay loose. And if we play our game, not many people are going to be able to beat us.
All right, next we'll go to Cole. Cole, go ahead.
Cole Thompson, LonghornsCountry.com. Well, Eric, when you break down Tanner's game, first appearance in a College World Series, like most of y'all, but for him being a freshman and to do what he did for as many innings and to close out the game, what does that say just about him and the future of Texas pitching?
The future of Texas pitching is in good hands. He's, as a freshman, he's the most poised pitcher out there I've ever seen. Nothing phases him. He's been nails all season, and that just continued today on the biggest stage. I know a lot of guys who, if that was their first appearance, they'd be walking a bunch of guys or they wouldn't have their stuff, but he was able to go what he's been doing all year, and he's been great for us all year. And it's just so fun to watch. When he gets in the game that the other team's going to be shut down, and we just have to rely on our bats to get it going.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff. Jeff, please say your name and affiliation.
Yeah, Jeff Howe, Horns 24/7. Eric, kind of piggybacking off what Kirk asked you a minute ago. 2 games into this thing now, do you feel like, whether it's the environment or getting used to the stadium or just being in Omaha for the first time, all that stuff is kind of out of everybody's system, and you guys are just, focusing on just playing your game and playing baseball?
Yeah, for sure. I think the first few at-bats for each and every one of us, it's kind of eye-opening with the huge crowd and the great environment. But once we got settled down, we showed it today, we got settled down and we were back to doing what we do, and it was great to see everybody come through with big hits and our pitching and defense do great as well.
All right, we'll take one more question here. We'll go to Cedric. Cedric, go ahead.
Hey, Kay, I know you hit that bomb and you guys had some timely hitting today, but what did those 2 double plays in the 3rd and 4th inning do for the spirit in that dugout?
Oh, they were huge. That double play, I believe that we turned the half inning after the home run. I mean, they had bases loaded, no outs, and just that changed the whole momentum of the whole inning and pretty much the rest of the game. That could have gotten away from us real easily, but Cam made a great play, and then Cy with a great backhand. Not a lot of catchers would be able to do that, and then getting the guy at first, they kind of seemed like they were starting to get back in it, but that kind of sucked the life out of them, and then we were able to take advantage of that later. We just played great defense, and it was awesome to see us suck the life out of their offense.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll have Tanner Witt here shortly. Again, as a reminder, please be familiar with the raise hand function and use that in order to ask questions, and we'll get started here in just a moment. Ooh. Okay, we now have Tanner Witt here. So, again, once you're called on, please state your name and affiliation. First, we'll go to Danny. Danny, go ahead.
Tanner, at this point, it's survive and advance and live to see another day. You guys did exactly that today. How confident is this team as you guys move on to Thursday in another elimination game?
It's great. Offense really picked us up there. Had a big game, kind of broke open, and then my job's just to give our team the best chance to win. And I just went out there, and it could have been the end of the season, but I don't want it to be the end of the season. I love these guys too much, and I was just trying to do anything I can for them.
Next, we'll go to Dustin.
Dustin McComas, OrangeBloods.com. Tanner, how much has that changeup usage really helped you get through a lineup multiple times, especially attacking lefties? And also, too, did you get tired at any point? I mean, career high in innings, career high in pitches, or was the adrenaline just keeping you going and pulling you through? Yeah, the adrenaline definitely helps. It's a big atmosphere. But, I'm just trying to do anything I can to keep our team in the game. And, that changeup was big. It's been big this whole season. Been trying to build it up, and it was comfortable out there, and I was throwing it well. And, again, I'm just trying to do anything I can to give our team the best chance to win. So, I'm going to go out there and do anything I can.
We'll take a question from Joe. Joe, go ahead.
Joe Cook, Inside Texas. Tanner, can you just explain what you saw on both those double play balls and how big they were for your outing today? Yeah, they've been huge all season, the defense. I think we got one of the best defenses in the country, and they showed it today. Every day they come out, they put the work in, and it shows in the games. And, our pitchers, I know I love it. They have a lot of energy, and, we feed off that, and it's big.
All right, we'll take a question from Kirk. Kirk, go ahead.
Yeah, Tanner, you just don't show any nerves at all. I mean, can you describe the emotions you're feeling? Do you even know you're pitching in the College World Series as poised as you see?
No, definitely. But, I live for this moment. This is the moment I've always dreamed for. I love that big stage, big atmosphere. And, I feel like I only get better in those situations because that's what I live for.
Just a reminder to please state your name and affiliation. Next, we'll go to Cole. Cole, go ahead.
Cole Thompson, Longhorns Country. Tanner, when you got back to the dugout, did Tristan tell you anything going forward? And then how'd you stay loose during that big 4th inning with Silas and the bats coming through to be able to pick up the lead?
He just said, way to pick me up. And, that's part of baseball, just picking your teammates up. And, my job's I'm a bullpen guy, so I'm just trying to do the best to keep my team in the game. And so he just told me, great job, way to get out of that. And I told him I'm going to keep going for him and everybody else on the team. And, it was a long inning, but it's a good inning because we're on the good side of it. We scored a lot of runs. So, I like it.
Again, as a reminder, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. We'll take a question from Cedric. Cedric, go ahead.
Hey, Tanner, Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. What were the conversations like at the hotel last night? I know you guys wanted to avoid checkout day on Wednesday, and now you're going to get to stick around for a while. What were those conversations like?
It's a lot of belief in our teammates, a lot of belief in each other. We've done that all season. We've faced adversity a lot this year. And, we've responded really well all year. And we're just going to continue to do that. Just have a good mind and just have fun. We're best when we have fun. We're a loose young team, and we like to have fun. So we're just going to keep doing that.
All right, we'll take a question from Nick. Nick, go ahead.
Nick Moyle, San Antonio Express News. Yeah, Tanner, this is obviously, your longest outing with Texas. Just curious, what you were thinking as you were getting deeper and deeper into it. And at any point, did you kind of have to tell the coaches, I don't want to be taken out. I want to finish this thing?
No, I wanted it the whole time. I felt like I only got better and felt better and better throughout the game. I felt my best stuff was kind of later in my outing. And, that's big. I just wanted to do whatever I could, again, just to keep my team in the game. And, it's survival. It's elimination games. And you got to do whatever you can for your team to win. So, that's all I was trying to do. I wasn't focused on how long I was going, how short I was going. I just want to get in there and keep my team in the game.
All right, next we'll take a question from Danny.
Tanner, you guys are obviously a little biased, but Eric just said that he believes Silas is the best catcher in the country. I'm kind of wondering what you think about your guy, what you think about number 4 back there.
100%. I'll go to war with that guy any day. I love that guy. He's been huge for us behind the plate. Made a huge play today. That could have been the difference in the game right there. That could have broken open for them, but he made a great play, picked up Cam there, and, it was huge. He's been huge all season for us, and, I'll go to war with him.
All right, Tanner, thank you for your time today.
Thank y'all very much. Hook 'em.
We will have Coach David Pierce here with us momentarily. And as a reminder, please use the raise hand function to get in the question queue. All right, we now have Coach Pierce here with us, so we'll begin with an opening statement from Coach and then go to questions. As a reminder, use the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question, and please, when you are called on for your question, state your name and affiliation. So, Coach, if you can go ahead with a brief opening statement.
I just thought we did a great job of competing all day from top to bottom. We had so many stars. We had so many guys that stepped up today, and that's what we needed. It was so clutch in the second when they put up 2 and EK's big 3-run home run. I mean, 2 tremendous double plays that we turned with the 5-2-3 by Silas on the pick and picking up Cam, and then tremendous job of Mitch going to the 4-hole and the 4-6-3 double play, and then, just kept tacking on some runs, a couple of 2-out RBIs, and then just Tanner Witt. And you look at Tanner there, it's the most he's extended this year in a time we needed it. And, Tristan Stevens has been so consistent for us, but, boy, that's why you call it a staff, and that's why you call it a team. So many guys stepped up today, which we needed.
Our first question comes from Dustin. Please say your name and affiliation.
Dustin McComas, OrangeBloods.com. David, I imagine you weren't surprised at all by this team's response today, but what kind of vibe did you get from them in those moments following the loss and then in practice and some downtime before today's game?
Oh, they were frustrated. They were embarrassed. The way we got beat, if we'd have lost a 2-1 game and we hit a lot of hard ground balls or line drives and they made plays, it would be one thing, but to just get embarrassed it's a good staff and just dang good team with Mississippi State, but I just think that their work that they put in from day one came out. And you have to be able to trust it, but then you also have to understand that if we continue to stay frustrated, we're not going to play well today. And so it was a very mature approach by them, not slamming anything, not pointing fingers, just understanding that it was a bad day and we still have opportunity to play.
Next question is from Danny. Danny, go ahead.
David, Silas isn't a rookie, obviously, but when did you kind of know that he was going to be that guy, that he was going to be, a guy who could make the defensive plays he's made the last two days and, manage his pitching staff for you guys?
He's just got a knack to soothe the pitching staff. He's very good with them. They're best friends. He has a sense of humor when he's off the field. He's very respectful. And this kid just comes to play every single day. And that's what I see in this team. It's just, we talked there at the end, and it's not even about anyone's numbers right now. It's just about competing together and just playing for that next game. So he's been tremendous. I mean, behind the plate, the things he does that are so good that are unnoticed, and then when he steps up on a big play like today and threw a couple of guys out the other day against Mississippi State. So he's kind of a rock for us back there. And, I credit him, Coach Miller, DJ Petrinsky's been unbelievable with Silas in a new role. And I just appreciate the work that they put in.
As a reminder, please state your name and affiliation. Next, we'll go to Bob.
Hey, Coach Bob Ballou, CBS Austin. Just expanding on Silas a little bit. I mean, the play in the third and then the base hit to untie the game 4-4. I mean, those two plays had to be the biggest two, and that could have really changed the game either way. Can you talk about him just coming up big in those moments?
It's huge. I mean, just trusting himself. I mean, the play, bases loaded, nobody out, and Cam just goosed the ball. And Silas never panicked, looked like a shortstop on the pick, and then throws a strike. I mean, I told him just now it's one of the best plays I've ever seen. I mean, ever, because of the situation. If that ball gets past him, they score two with two guys. They scored two and have a runner at second and third with nobody out. It could have unraveled on us. So, I mean, that for me, that was the play of the game, no doubt. And then a big two-out, 2 RBIs.
Next question is from Kirk. Please state your name and affiliation.
Yeah, Kirk Bowles from the American Statesman. David, congratulations on your first College World Series win as the Longhorn head coach. I don't know how relieving that is, but also – and Tanner Witt kind of saved your bullpen for the rest of the series, correct?
Yes, he did. I mean, to be in the losers bracket 1-1. We're in pretty good shape with our arms right now. We feel like we have, Pete ready to go if that's who we go with. We still got to talk about it, but then you still got a lot of guys fresh, and you may see Tristan Stevens later in this series as well. And Kurt, and thank you for mentioning that. That was a big deal for our team and for our staff.
Hey, Joe, go ahead.
Joe Cook, Inside Texas. David, you talked about the maturity the team showed. Do you think that shone through the most in that fourth inning when it was a really fiery and competitive game? Both teams seemed – I don't know if your team was chippy. Tennessee was obviously chippy. Do you think that's when it shone through the most this game?
No doubt. I think we held our composure when things were kind of getting a little emotional. Our guys did a nice job of allowing that to just happen, not get caught up in it, and just to play the game. I mean, we worked so hard to play this game, and they appreciate it, and that's what they did. They just kind of sat back, allowed it to pass, and then just keep playing.
All right, we'll take the next question from Cole. Cole, go ahead.
Cole Thompson, longhornscountry.com. David, congrats on the win. Tanner told us earlier that he wanted to go out for the ninth. He felt that his momentum was at an all-time high going into the last frame. Did you tell him anything before he took the mound in the ninth inning? And overall, just his performance, what does this mean for the future of Texas pitching?
His performance was just outstanding on the biggest stage when the team needed him more so than ever. When you get into postseason baseball, guys have to step up, and he did exactly that. The only thing I told him is that if you're out of gas, Nixon wants the ball, and he's ready to go. And that was a fun moment because he definitely wanted the ball.
Next, we'll go to Cedric. Cedric, go ahead.
Yeah, David, Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. Tomorrow morning when you go down for breakfast at the hotel, you can leave your bags in the room. That's got to feel good. How important was it for you guys, not only to get this win to stay alive, but to put the Mississippi State thing in the past and get back to playing the type of ball we've seen all year?
No, I think it's so important because we've worked so hard for these moments, and we didn't want to leave here with the bitter taste. We still have a lot of baseball in our minds to play, so that next opportunity, it's huge for us. And you look up and down our lineup, we still have a lot of young players, and for them to have that experience of playing in Omaha and then to kind of position themselves to catch their breath, have another practice, and get into the flow of this tournament. I know in 2018 we played the opening game. We lost that one, then we had to come back in the loser's bracket, and it seemed like we were in and out of Omaha. And I think it benefits our team if we could just get in the flow of this tournament and understand we can play with anybody in the country.
Next, we have Chip. Chip, go ahead.
Chip Brown, Horns 24/7. David, what was the difference in your guys at the plate today as compared to game one?
Well, they got challenged. I mean, we challenged them yesterday and at practice. It's just not acceptable. We talked about a lot of things that happened to us that, we were in coach prevention, and, sometimes young people just don't pay attention as much as they need to. And, when you get humiliated and you get stung, either you're going to back down and tuck your tail, or you're going to do something about it. And, they made a commitment that they're going to try to shorten up their swings if they got to get off the knob. Just whatever it does to just find a way to get to 90. It's not so much of being the guy that comes up with the big hit. Just don't force your at-bats. Trust yourself. Trust all the work that you've put in. Trust your coaches. And then catch your breath and enjoy the competition. I mean, this is what you prepare for, and so why press that and put yourself in a position where you're feeling anxiety? And it's many times easier said than done, but it's just another baseball game, and there's more people watching. It's a national audience, but it's still a game, and that's how we have to approach it.
Next, we'll go to Dustin.
Dustin McComas, OrangeBloods.com. David, we're not that far removed from Eric basically being a platoon guy or a guy that was his confidence is really low. He has the walk-off hit in the Super Regional, 3-run homer today. How much different has he been in his confidence the last few weeks, and how much of a different lineup are you guys when he's providing that sort of presence? I mean, things like stealing third when a guy throws behind him at second base, and that ends up being a run for you guys. He
might just put pressure on you, in so many different ways. And, as a pitcher or a staff, you're always telling yourselves, do not let those two guys beat you with the base on ball. They're going to have to earn it. We're going to take the bunt away. And so if they are having the right approach, they tend to get good pitches to hit. And, yeah, you've definitely noticed his confidence go up. And I just think, playing the game, and it's a difficult game, and when you start trying to change things or trying to replace guys in the lineup, it never works. And so you got to fight through that. Eric has earned the right to be a starter, and he earned the right to fail and struggle. And so now his confidence is back, and we are definitely happy that he's seeing the ball well and helping this team win.
All right, final question, Coach. We'll go to Danny.
David, I'm sure it wasn't easy to go grab Tristan there in the fourth. When did you know it was time to make that move, and how quickly can he bounce back from a 60-ish pitch in outing?
Well, we just always talk about how the ball gives you information, and he was a little flat. He couldn't get his slider down. They were barreling balls. He walked three guys. It was so uncharacteristic of Tristan Stevens. I mean, I just talked to him in the dugout, and it's like we're never going to ask guys to be perfect. But he was awesome. I mean, he understood it, and has already told me that he wants the ball, and so that's huge. he'll be able to bounce back. We're going to probably have to get through Thursday before he's eligible to help us.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time today.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you all for participating. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com, and transcripts are available at ncaa.com/transcripts. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, Coach. We'll start with an opening statement from you, and then we will move on to questions.
Yeah, congrats to Texas. Their guys showed up, wanted to win the game, as did ours, and they were able to get the job done today. More importantly for me, thank you to Vol fans. The Vol Walk on Football Saturday is pretty impressive. It's a tradition that's gone on for a long time. But these kids somehow inspired the Vol Walk for baseball to be created, and it's a pretty incredible sight and emotional thing. So thank you to those people, but also the people that just helped boost up our program into being an Omaha-type program. We hope to be that for multiple years, not just this year. So can't make any promises, but obviously we'd like to do better next time. But don't want our kids to have any sort of guilt. They're good kids. You got a guy apologizing, and I'm apologizing to them, and I think that's what makes a good team, is when you got each other's back and you want to see the guy next to you succeed more than you want it for yourself. And disappointing day, probably a lot of social media stuff can make these guys seem like they kind of want to be the bad boys. But there's just a bunch of kids that want to win for each other. And some guys that off the field, you take that jersey off, they're pretty soft and they're pretty good kids. But when they throw it on, they do everything they can to win for Tennessee and to win for each other. And I'm honored to have been around them for 50 wins and obviously one loss too many. Thank you.
We'll move to questions now. Mike Wilson.
Yeah, Tony, when you were standing out there in the outfield, just kind of distant from your team, all huddling together, what was going through your mind, and how do you keep a season like this in perspective with what you did versus how it ended?
I think it's hard because no disrespect to the opponent, just didn't envision it today. And even in the ninth inning, maybe you get 2 outs and nobody's on, you start thinking, what do I say to the guys or anything like that? But nothing's packed, I can tell you that. I got no idea how much longer we'll stay here, but feel unprepared. Kind of like our 2 games. We didn't play that great, even though a lot of preparation time was put in. If the results don't go well, you have to look at yourself as a coach and wish you made different decisions because the ones you made didn't work. But you get to that point, I really didn't have anything intelligent to say to the guys. I just, the old cliche, man, you go to a place, you'd like to leave it better than you found it. And holy cow, did these kids do that. So I was just out there looking after them, wanting to be able to do something to help. But at that point, they just wanted to share some time with one another. And, I mentioned to them in the locker room there that we need to do something else to get together as a group rather than just kind of slamming the door shut on this thing, whether it's honoring the fans or the team or just getting together for a meal and being together one more time.
Wes Rucker.
Yeah, Tony, was anything about, I know emotion has fed y'all as a team so many times this season in a positive way. Did any of that create any negative things today? Or were those 2 separate things, the execution not being great and then some of the emotion?
No, I don't think so. I think it's either there or it's not. And I there's no way I can count on one hand total or how many digits you got. 2-3 times the guys didn't show up with kind of their attitude or their behavior. Certainly there was fluctuation in skill and performance, but they just found a way for almost 70 games, however many it was, to show up and play Vol baseball, if that's what you want to call it. And we didn't do that game 1 here in Omaha for whatever reason. We sat and talked forever. It just wasn't there. So the goal today obviously is to win the game, but we kind of put the scoreboard in our back pocket and just wanted to make sure the guys showed up with the attitude that we're used to, and they did that. And so that's why the emotion was high and the way things were. And I think, you get deflated in certain situations, but I didn't see anything that, was like, a big weight on our shoulders holding us down, for lack of a better phrase.
Ryan Shumpert.
From your vantage point, just what did you see on the plate to plate in the 4th inning? And did you feel like that kind of took some juice out of your team or anything like that?
Well, I thought it was a really clean relay. Jordan Beck, got over there in a hurry. got it to our infielders. They make a clean throw. Pav makes a clean tag. So you kind of anticipated the thing being an out. Unfortunately, we've got replay in the dugout, and I think you're better off as team or coaches not seeing that stuff when they throw it up on the scoreboard or in the corner. But obviously, it's one more run. I don't have a scale to weigh, how much of a punch in the gut that was to our guys or how much of a detriment that was other than just what was on the scoreboard. But 5-4 is different than 6-4.
Trey Wallace.
Hey, Tony, just kind of looking at where you guys stood all season long and coming into this, how did you think, two questions, how did you think your batters were looking at pitches coming into today and getting through the Texas game? And then also, when you kind of look back at your time this season with Tennessee, what are you going to remember the most about being around these kids?
Sure. I think with the hitters, the thing they did different today was kind of stay to the baseball a little bit more. I don't know that you'd call it staying within yourself from my vantage point. But guys got off cleaner swings. They were more sure of themselves in their takes. And really, again, I think they just got back to being themselves. It obviously wasn't good enough, but it wasn't anything, on the superstar side, but it also wasn't where you saw guys, doing things on certain pitches that you would question. So, and then, as far as what I would remember with these guys, that's a tough thing to point out, one deal. Other than as a coach, you're always trying to learn. And I learned a ton from the group on just how to get things done, how to act, how to respond in certain situations. And then, there's a meme for all the people that don't like us that can, they can't see any tears yet, but was locked up in that condo for a long time, man. Long time. And then we had to watch these guys hit BP on the field by themselves, play catch, couldn't do anything. And then you got to be around them for a whole year. And it was a pleasure cruise. As much as you get angry at certain things or you got to go to COVID testing and stuff like that, it was a good time. It was a really good time to be around those guys. And they created something. So you get handed the baton, you run with it. That's one thing, and kudos to all those people that have done that. But these kids literally invented things, and they did it in a really fun fashion. So.
Troy Provost Heron.
Hey, Tony. Just want to go back to that fourth inning, and you mentioned the perception about you guys being the bad boys and whatnot. When Ross gets tossed there, are you at all surprised that the guys didn't respond to that as well, and kind of all the bad luck and whatever happened after that moment?
Yeah, I mean, just because a guy gets thrown out, it doesn't mean the next guy's going to hit a home run. I think Ross acted like he did all year long. So, and a couple of those guys know him from his playing days. So, maybe that's kind of a thing. But the guy was brought on to give us a brand name. So, from my vantage point from prior to, I certainly appreciate the work that was put into the program before we got here. But in my opinion, there needed to be a little more spice. And that's why that guy was added. And I think he brings that every day. So in that particular situation, the eyes were on him, and he was frustrated. We brought in a guy to hit the mitt, and I think Ross felt like he was hitting the mitt. And so if anything, standing up for his guy and also ensuring that we at least brought some passion to the field today. So whether it went awry or we misbehaved or whatever it might be, no one's getting on that bus going back to the hotel saying, we didn't show up or we weren't into it or we didn't have any fight to us.
We'll go 2 more questions. Ben McKee.
Yeah, Tony, just what did you see from Blade and Sean that maybe led to a lack of command there on the mound? And do you think Sean maybe just ran out of juice there towards the end?
I think Blade, was throwing the ball all right. They were on him for whatever reason. I think he was getting frustrated about certain things. And then a third thing was there was just a handful of pitches where he didn't have the conviction that I've seen out of him, in the past few weeks. That was just kind of my read. And we felt good about the fact that it was a start to a new game. And the whole goal was, again, to get somebody out there to hit the mitt. And, I think in both situations, the big thing was we were one pitch away from, getting out of 2 innings that a lot of damage was done. And, we threw it over the plate, which is what got us here. And they were able to put a couple good swings on balls.
Final question, Mike Wilson.
Yeah, Tony, have you had any communication with LSU regarding its vacant coaching position? And do you expect to be the head coach at Tennessee next season?
No, I've not had zero. And, I just made an idiot out of myself, at least for all the masculine folks watching, by getting teary-eyed about these kids. And that's where my focus has been. So, like I said, the social life hasn't been existent for quite some time, well before our opening day game. And a part of that is I want to do as good of a job as I can for the school that gave me a chance. And I want to do as good of a job I can for a group that we thought could go pretty far. And then, the way the season evolved, like I said, the emotions, certainly not fake. I don't know if it's embarrassing or not, but it's coming from a place where that's my number one concern is these guys. And I'll go back to the room, and anyone who knows me, it'll be bad. How much I critique myself, and it hurts. So I'm certainly not going to waste energy before a game or any other game having regrets that, my mind wasn't right or we weren't prepared the right way to go into whatever game it might be.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on a good season.
Thank you all. Take care.
We'll be joined next by senior Pete Thurkay, and we will go straight to questions with Pete. Welcome to the podium, Pete. We're going to go straight to questions. Wes Rucker.
Yeah, Pete, I know that, for whatever reason, Tony said that maybe in the first game y'all didn't play vol baseball. Do you feel like y'all did that today, even though you didn't win the game?
Yeah, for the most part. There were just a couple situations where we didn't come up with the big hit or big pitch, but felt like throughout the entire day we were fighting and kind of played more our brand of baseball. We just got beat today.
Ben McKee.
Pete, how would you just assess what went wrong this week for you all?
I don't know. Sometimes baseball is a crazy game, and first day we kind of just didn't show up like we were capable of doing, and got exposed a little bit. And then today, they were the better team. They capitalized on a little more situations and made some plays when they really needed to. So I'd say that was about it.
Ryan Shumpert.
So what will be your lasting memories of this season and this team?
I love each and every one of these guys. To think when the season got canceled last year, I thought maybe it was all over. And to just kind of get that, second chance to do it all over again, especially with this group of guys, was just, it was unbelievable. Kind of brings a little tear to my eye. I'm trying to do my best right now. But, it just meant the world to me. And I'll remember this season for the rest of my life. To do something that this program hasn't done in 16 years, to get back here. And ever since I stepped on this campus, I said I wanted to change the culture here. And with Luke, Redmond, and Will, that was just something that was always on our mind. And so I'd say the lasting thing is we did that. And Tennessee baseball is back. And with these coaches and players coming back, I know this place is in a really good spot.
Troy Provost Heron.
Pete, just from your vantage point, what looked like went wrong in that fourth inning for Hunley and the guys?
I would say just we didn't make a couple pitches in some situations, and they put a good swing on the ball and capitalized on some mistakes. We fell behind in some counts, and sometimes that's just going to happen when a team capitalizes on stuff.
Will Backus?
Oh yeah, Pete. Kind of bouncing off that in that fourth inning. Ross Cavett got ejected, and then you had that review that didn't quite go your way. What was the feeling in the dugout after that, or what was the feeling amongst the players after that sequence of events?
I mean, it was still pretty early in the game, so I wouldn't say it was just kind of like, oh, okay, because one thing Coach Vitale has always told us with these reviews is you can either go one way or the other. So whatever they tell us, if he's out or safe, that's what we got to roll with. So that's what we were kind of going off of at that moment in time, and yeah, that was it.
Trey Wallace?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got caught up right there. When you kind of look back overall from even the postseason when it started to you guys getting to the regional, super regionals, making it to Omaha, I know you've kind of already gotten into this a little bit, but are there certain moments that maybe stand out to you more or less than others that you'll continue to take on?
I mean, that grand slam that Drew hit was still one of the that was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. I was kind of just sitting there in the dugout next to Redmond, and I think we were both thinking the same thing, that if we got to Drew, like we had a really good shot, but nobody said a word to each other. And we're kind of just sitting there watching it, and it happened, and that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then from then on, it just kind of was just the guys, all our guys were just feeding off each other and just so focused on how can we get to the next thing, and if somebody doesn't get it done, the next guy's going to do it. And from then on, it just felt like the train was rolling, and Drew kind of sparked that with that unbelievable play. But even in the Super Regional, when the skies opened up out of nowhere and Chad's having to pitch where I can't even see him, and then 20 minutes later, it's perfectly fine. But just to see that he wasn't going to call for, the stuff to be like the mound to get fixed and, hey, I can't do this. He's like, I'm going to go after it, even though, like, when the ball goes in the air, you can't really see it. So I'd say those were two of the bigger moments. And just that the feeling of being able to dogpile at Lindsey Nelson was it was unbelievable. And the fact that we got out of it with nobody getting hurt was probably the best thing out of it. But that was a moment that I will never forget.
We'll go one more question. Jake Nichols.
Pete, when you were out in the outfield with the other guys, what's kind of your message to each of the other seniors? And then what's your message to these younger guys now that, they've had a taste of this and had this historic run for you guys going forward?
I mean, first off, I want you to know that I love them from the bottom of my heart. Hasn't always been smooth sailing throughout these 5 years. And without them, I don't know what I would do, especially that group of seniors. I mean, they're some of my best friends, people that will be in my life for many years to come. So just want to say thank you to them and that I love them. But with the younger guys too, it's especially getting to experience this, you want more of it. And when we made it to the regional in 2019 and got eliminated from that, we knew we wanted more. So to get here was great, but if I had one more year, I want more. So for them, it's just keep staying the course with everything and keep putting in the work that got us here this go round. And if they keep doing that, I think Tennessee baseball will be a force to be reckoned with next year. And you could see us back here again.
Thank you, Pete, for your time today. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. If you need to find this, it's on the NCAA Media Hub. Appreciate your time.